Good morning, children. Hope you all are doing good. Children, today I am going to start new chapter number 11, sense organ. As you all know, children, that we have the 5 sense organs: eyes, ears, nose, skin, and tongue. And these all 5 sense organs are sensitive to light, sound, taste, smell, and touch. They also helps in senses the or balancing our body, helps in the movement. We can see the directions or the ways. It helps in the hunger, thirst, and pain also. So all these 5 sense organs, they contain a special type of receptors which detect the signals. You all know in the nervous system chapter about the stimulus and response. So based on the that only reflex action or stimulus and response only, these signals pass through this receptor and send it to the brain. Now receptor, what is receptor? Receptor is any specialized tissue or cell sensitive tissue which is sensitive to the specific stimulus. So remember the stimulus and response. So you know that first signal is mechanoreceptor, which is helpful for sensitive to touch, pressure of a skin due to mechanical change. Second one is chemoreceptor, as you can see here. This is the receptor of touch and smell, so it is present in our tongue or nose. Then is photoreceptor. Photo means related to the light, so it is present in our eyes, and the cells, that receptor cells, are rod cells and cone cells, which is present in the retina of the eye. Then next one is thermoreceptor. Thermo, we all know it is related to the heat, so it is heat and cold receptor. It is present in our skin and it helps in the changing the temperature. Then phonoreceptor. Phono is present in our ear. It is a receptor for sound and hearing. So all these receptors are there. You should know the biological term. Now what about the eyes? So our eyes, we have the pair of eyes, 2 eyes that are located in the deep sockets. That sockets are called orbits. So we can say that eyes are located on the orbits on the front side of our head, and each eye is in the form of a ball. You can touch your eyeball. Close your eyes and you can touch, you can feel the ball. Okay, this is spherical one, and can be rotated with the help of muscles. So ciliary, there are 6 muscles which helps our eyes to rotate in all the direction. We can rotate our eyes left side, up, down, everywhere. Now we have the eyelids. So eyelids are the upper and lower movable part, which, what is the use of it? It protects the outer surface of the eyes from the sunlight, from any dust particles, so that, or any other particles will not enter into our body, into our eye. So we have the eyelids, which contain the eyelashes, curved eyelashes, which prevent our eye from dust particles. So all these orbits, eyelids, eyebrows, tear gland, you can see here, all works for protection of our eyes. Next is eyebrows. So we can see this is the eyebrow. So this eyebrow, what is the function? These are also protective in nature, and they prevent the raindrops or any sweating trickling into our eyes, because it also contains chemicals, dust particles. Now we have the tear gland. So here, this part you can see lacrimal gland. Lacrimal gland is present upper sideward portion of the orbit, you can see here. So this gland secrete the tears. So it has the 6 or 12 ducts of the gland that pour the secretion. So we have the lacrimal sac, chamber kind of, nasolacrimal duct. It is present near our nose. So they secrete this gland secrete the tears. Okay, and these they are the pipe like, tube like. So these tears goes into this lacrimal and nasolacrimal duct only, and from that it will discharge outside. Now the movement of the eyelids, for example, you know, we are blinking, we blink our eyes. So what is the purpose of that blinking? The blinking spread the liquid which is serves as a lubricant, so it acts as a lubricant. So next point is the tear acts as a lubricant, remember this. So tear also helps the frontal surface of our eye, so that it will clean or wash our eye from the dust particles. They also have an antiseptic property. How? Because tear contains this lysozyme enzymes which kill the germs or bacteria. So remember that tears contains the lysozyme enzyme which kill the germ or bacteria. Now I have shown you the diagram of ducts. So tear have these ducts. So in the inner angle of the eye, so we have ducts for nasolacrimal duct near the nasal cavity. So what they do, they secrete or they pass the tear which is secreted by the lacrimal gland. Okay, so what happen, you know, sometimes we are just sometimes medicines dropped into our eyes come into our nose. Whenever we drop some medicine into our eyes, it comes from our nose or evenly from our throat. So this ENT is, we all know this ENT is interconnected, eyes, nose and throat. So that's why the medicines from these ducts, because these ducts are interconnected, that's why these medicines can move from eyes to the mouth, okay, or nose, or the throat. This happened due to the above mentioned duct. So due to the irritation also, or when we are in any emotional state, the tear gland secrete lots of liquid, okay, which we say waters the eyes or tears, or whenever we are in any sadness, any grief, or any extreme joyness feeling, it comes out from our eyes whenever we are very happy. So there are 4 main functions. First one is it lubricates the surface of the eye so that it will not get dry. Then wash away the dust particle. Lysozymes enzyme is present so that it can kill the germs. We can communicate with the help of tears also, okay. So whenever if you see any any friend, your best friend for so long, you can feel so excited and tears can come out. Now next one is conjunctiva. Conjunctiva is a thin membrane, okay. So here this page number 139 diagrams are given. You should make in your copy and you should learn this labeling. So here you can see conjunctiva is there, cornea is there, ciliary muscle is there, suspensory ligament is there, pupil, lens, ciliary muscles is there, sclera, retina, choroid, yellow spot, optic nerve, blind spot. So all this you should remember this diagram. Now the conjunctiva is a thin membrane. It is a thin membrane. It covers the front part of the eye. So I have shown you in the diagram, you can see again. So it is continuously spreading into the inner lining of the eyelid, and over the cornea we have the then over the conjunctiva we have the cornea. So cornea is also present near the conjunctiva, okay. And cornea is, what is cornea? It is a single layer of epithelium cell, transparent epithelium cell. Now you know we know the disease conjunctivitis, aankh khana and all. So it is a common eye disease, and it is occurs due to the viral infection, and in that disease our eyes, this outermost layer will become red. So remember this, all these orbit, eyebrows, tears, conjunctiva, all these tear gland, all, what is the function of all these? For keeping our eyes, for protecting our eyes from the dust particle and other germs and bacteria. Now what is the structure of the eyeball? So eyeball consists of 2 parts, divided into 3 layers. First one is sclerotic, middle one is choroid, and inner one is retina. So sclera, choroid and retina, you can say. Sclerotic layer is also called as sclera, and it is made up of fibrous tissue which is white in color. So the white portion of our eye, we can see that is sclera part, sclera river. Remember this thing. The white portion of the front of the eye is the sclerotic layer. Okay. Now, as I told you, children, you should remember this. Here you can see sclera part. Here you can see sclera part. Okay. So sclera and choroid is here. Choroid and retina. Okay, choroid is the red internal part, and then we have the retina where image is formed. Okay, so here you can say, here retina part where image is formed. So here we have the blind spot, here sclera and choroid. So one colorful picture is given, one black and white picture is given. So you should remember for understanding this chapter better, you should know the labeling of the eye, internal structure of eye. So what is this? So you can see this sclera region bulged out, okay, and it contains the cornea. So cornea is present near the this sclera part. You can see in the diagram also. Here, when it is running continuously, cornea is present. Okay, and cornea is the living part. Okay, now sometimes due to this cornea, some patient this cornea becomes opaque and non-functional. So in that what will happen, the person will not able to see properly. So people usually donate when those who are donating the eyes, what doctors are taking, doctors are taking cornea part from their eyes, so that the other people or other patient vision can be restored. So this for vision, cornea is also a very important part. And you should remember that cornea remain alive up to nearly 40 hours after the death of the person. So you should know this thing. So within the 4 years after the death of a person, within the 4 years, doctors has to remove the cornea part from the patient, that body, and it is stored in the eye bank. They store it at very low temperature so that it can be stored, and in the suitable media called blood plasma and other sterile germ free liquid medium. These are the medium in which the cornea can survive. Okay. So whenever any patient need the cornea, they can then donate it. They can then surgically replace it. Then the person their vision will be restored. Now, even according to the recent reports, AIIMS, we all know it is AIIMS hospital is there in the New Delhi, has developed the technique. They have sliced the cornea into 2-3 layers, and then they are doing the grafting. So from the one cornea they can slice the 2-3 layers, they can remove the 2-3 layers, and then they can cure the vision of 2-3 person with one cornea. So this is also a very good thing. Now next layer is choroid layer. So choroid layer is just inner layer of the sclera. So you should know that choroid layer is richly supplied with blood vessels. Okay, so it has the blood vessels which contains the WBCs, RBCs and all, and which provide nourishment of the eye. So what is the use of function of the choroid layer? It provides nourishment of the eye, and it contains a melanin pigment, which is a dark pigment which prevent the reflection of the eye. So which prevent the light rays from reflecting and scattering inside the eye. So this choroid region, it contains the melanin pigment which helps or prevent the light rays from reflecting and scattering. Otherwise it will damage our eyes. Light rays, they are very harsh. So in front of the eyes, choroid layer further expand into ciliary bodies, which is circular muscles. So you can see in the diagram here, it is ciliary body, ciliary muscles. Here you can see ciliary body, ciliary muscles. So these are also these muscles hold the iris part. Okay, so these smooth muscle in the ciliary muscle alter the shape of the lens. So lens can change its shape, okay, during the when bright light enters into the or dim light enters, it basically hold the this part, iris part. So this iris present in the choroid part, and inside the iris, at the center part of the iris, circular opening is present, that is called pupil. So remember, this choroid layers, it contain the iris, and inside the iris pupil is present. So the some people are having the blue eye color, some are having brown, black eye color, like I have the black eye color, so refers to the color of the iris. So my iris is black in color, and inside the iris, this black part of my eyes, circular pupil is present. Now pupil, just you can read that this word comes from the Latin word pupa, meaning doll. Okay, now inside it we can see, or other person can see the image of himself or oneself. Now the iris contain radical muscles, so that it can widen and it can constrict, so it can adjust the size of the pupil. So sometimes, whenever we are going near the bright light, so pupil dilates and expands. Okay, so if somebody just throw the light torch on our eyes, in that case also it dilates. So pupil is dilates while in the bright light, or in the dim light it is constricted. Okay, so underline this line: in dim or dark light the pupil is dilated, while in bright light it is constricted. So the pattern changes, and everybody is having different patterns of iris. That's why in the Aadhaar card and all, whenever you will go na, people will scan your iris, because we all are having different patterns. Our iris are different patterns. Now different patterns, so we can people can use it, or we can use it for identification. So our iris is having different identical pattern. Now third part is, innermost part is retina. Retina is the innermost layer which is sensitive to light. So in the retina there are two cells, sensory cells are present. First one is rod cells, and the second one is cone cells. So the white image or colored image that we can see, that we can easily observe, is due to these cells. So the rod cells, which is the inner cells, they are sensitive to dim light. So you should know, you should remember always, the rod cells sensitive to dim light, but they do not respond to color. Okay, they contain the rhodopsin pigment. So you should know at which light they are sensitive to, they contain which type of pigment, and where they are present. So they are present in the retina, rod cells, they contain rhodopsin pigment, and they are sensitive to dim light. Whereas the cone cell, they are sensitive to bright light and are responsible for color vision. So rod cells always forms the black and white image, and cone cells forms a colorful image. Now they contain iodopsin pigment, visual violet. Okay, here visual purple or visual violet. So the cone cells are mostly distributed to or present in the yellow spot only. Now what is yellow spot? So here you can see in this diagram, colorful diagram, they are showing yellow spot, macula lutea. Okay, so remember this, near this region where yellow spot is there, optic nerve is there, and blind spot is there. So there are two spots in our eyes, one is yellow spot, one is blind spot. So yellow spot only these cone cells and rod cells are present. So what is yellow spot? So the distribution of rod cells and cone cells is not uniform. Okay, so a particular spot that is called macula lutea. Lutea means macula means a spot, lutea means yellow. It is present in back of the eye. This spot contain maximum number of sensory cells. Sensory cells means rod cells and cone cells, and particularly the cone cell. Most of the cone cells are present here, maximum number of cone cells are present here than the rod cells. I told you that cone cells are responsible for color vision and rod cells are responsible for black and white vision. As a result, this is the reason of brightest vision. We can see clearly with all the bright color, rainbow color, because of this yellow spot. And the rest of the retina has fewer cone cells. Okay, cone in the other part of the retina, near that part of yellow spot, other part of the yellow spot, cone cells are less but rod cells are more. So this is the difference you can see. Now in this box, from this box you can easily understand that what is yellow spot. Yellow spot is the place of the best vision of the normal eye. That is why when we move your eye from word to word, as you can read a line through a printed page. So those who are having the proper vision, word to word we can clearly, we can see and we can read continuously. So due to this yellow spot only. So in the yellow spot we can see the best vision, normal eye can see. Now next one is blind spot. So this blind spot is the, you can see here, blind spot is lateral to the yellow spot and nasal side of the blind spot. Okay, and you should know this, it is written blind. Blind means no vision. So there are no vision is present in this blind spot because of there are no sensory cells, there are no rod cells, there are no cone cells present in this blind spot area. Okay, so this is the point of no vision, remember this. And this is the point at which the nerve fiber or optic nerve arises. They converge, they bundle together and leave the eyeball. So here I am showing you in the diagram only. So you can see blind spot is there, near the optic nerve is there, and here in the retina part here yellow spot is there. They are not mentioning here, but in this picture, colorful picture, they are showing yellow spot is here. Okay, where exactly cone cells are maximum and rod cells are less. Here blind spot is there, you can see the black one, and here optic nerve. So through this optic nerve only signals goes to, whenever we see anything, okay, table, chair, book, anything, that signals is that signals is stimulated by this nerve cell only, and nerve cells send the signals to the, through the nerve cell signals goes to the brain. Brain read it, interpret it, and then again sends signal back through this optic nerve to the retina only, and the retina only image is formed. So retina, which part? This yellow spot part. Now, so remember this blind spot. So now there is page number 140. There is a difference between rod cells and cone cells. So you should remember, as I said, it is that bright light, dim light, more numerous, less numerous, and it is which that pigment is present, rhodopsin, iodopsin. Okay, so related to one type of rods only, three types of cones only. So comparison you can read by yourself. Now there is one activity, so you can do, you can read and you can experience your own by blind spot by looking. Bring the book or any drawing of till about 15 centimeter away from our eyes, and then you can see the change in the shape of the circle and square. So you read. Now we have the lens also, eye lens. So this eye lens is our eye lens is transparent, flexible, biconvex. This is the biconvex crystalline body which is presented over behind the pupil. So you know, from the pupil only light answer into from the pupil. So this, you know, structure of an eye, I think it is given in the physics also. So you can study in that also, whatever is given in your physics book. It contains, this lens contains transparent lens fibers. So lens fibers, they are the long thin cells which have lost their nuclei. So they are the thin fibers, they do not have any nucleus. So lens is holded by in or is held in position by suspensory ligament which is attached to ciliary body. So here you can see in this picture suspensory ligament. So this suspensory ligament only hold the lens. So here it is lens, you can see white color. So this lens is there, so which is hold by suspensory ligament and ciliary body and ciliary muscles. So basically they stretch, our lens can be stretched with the help of these suspensory muscles and ciliary body. Now the ciliary body lies at the junction of the choroid. You should know the location of each, in this chapter structure of eye, labeling is very important. You should know which part is where it is located, what is the function of it, and how it is forming the image. Now the ciliary body contains muscle which on contraction, which these are the muscles. So muscles, we know the nature, the muscle nature is the contraction, the relaxation. So they can change with the help of this contraction of the ciliary muscles and ciliary body, suspensory ligament. They change the shape of the lens so that it has become elastic. So it is written also, it is flexible. Lens is a flexible, and we can see the different object at different distance because of this elasticity of the flexibility of the lens, which is held by suspensory ligament and ciliary body. So children, please read in a homework, read the chapter, all these, and if you have any doubt, ask me in the Zoom class. So children, thank you and have a nice day. In the next part, I will explain you other parts of the eye. So thank you and have a nice day. God bless you all.